Some other things to consider, some other things to look at. Again, make sure you have a will, make sure you have a trust, make sure it's up to date, make sure your beneficiaries are correct and the trust is funded. Go through each of your accounts. And this is something that we do, like you said, ongoing as families come in and visit with us every 6 months or every year or ongoing. I mean, I have a client that reaches out to me almost on a quarterly basis, and I'm not even kidding, just to check. And I'm like, hey,
good.
Nothing's changed. We haven't signed any new documents.
One of the biggest keys for all of this to be successful is be organized.
Yeah.
Get ahead of it.
Bring your children into that so they know where to find everything as well.
Yeah.
Again, because they're going to be helping most likely that spouse that is left behind. So you want them to have a little bit more hands-on role through this process.
Yeah.
You know, a couple other things that I would recommend. Make sure you're meeting ongoing with your advisor, your legal team. Make sure your advisor knows how to do this or has some guidance that can help you, because a lot of this comes back to not only your estate settlement attorney, but your financial, not necessarily the attorney that wrote your documents, unless they do both, like I was saying earlier, but it's going to be your estate settlement attorney and your financial advisor working hand in glove together to make sure that you have the best outcome. And like I said, it is a long, tedious process for both the estate settlement attorney and, believe it or not, the advisor as well, right? And a lot of times advisors don't have the team to be able to handle this, you know, and it's just a lot of work. And so make sure that you align yourself, whether if you are working with an advisor that can help with the estate settlement piece. And then the final thing is, for me, and this is kind of a little bit specific, I guess, is a lot of times clients have, you know, maybe they have a pension and it dies with them, right? Or maybe they have an idea that they want to leave money behind tax efficient, and they use life insurance to do so, because life insurance is a great wealth transfer vehicle. It's tax-free if it's set up correctly to a spouse, or tax-free to the next generation, and you can use what's called leverage. You know, you're paying a little bit of money for a lot larger death benefit. But sometimes these policies that were written years ago had promises that, you know, of interest rates from years ago. Does that make sense? And when the individual bought them, they thought everything looked good, and then when we start to dig in or pull back the curtain, these policies are set to expire. These policies are going to need to be funded at a higher premium, or, you know, a curveball's coming around the corner. What we recommend, if you haven't done this, and we do this every 3 to 5 years on any life insurance policies that our clients have, whether we're the advisor or not, is do what's called an in-force illustration. And what that means is it's a policy that's in force, meaning it's active. And the illustration is what the insurance company will provide you. It's a projection of how healthy this policy is. Yeah. Because you don't want any curveballs. Like I said, if you are lucky enough to get a pension, which, you know, not many people are, and depending on which option you chose, if you chose the option where the pension dies with you and your spouse gets nothing, which sometimes we see, and then there's the life insurance policy on the side to support that when that time comes, and that policy isn't healthy, you passed and that policy is not going to last. Well, now you've just kind of defeated the purpose of the plan.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Right.
So I always recommend, if you have insurance, you know, if it's guaranteed, you're good. Again, I still recommend doing an in-force illustration. But if it's any way variable, what we call universal, then I would definitely recommend what's called an in-force illustration to make sure your policy is going to last